This is the easiest wooden climbing hold you can make. And I want to show you how to do it. And there's a couple of tricks that I know to make them really nice. First, let me mention that the type of wood that you use is pretty important. The wood that we're using for these wooden climbing holds is a select pine from Home Depot, 1 by whatever, that doesn't matter. And it actually is 3/4 of an inch thick, not just 1 inch thick. Safety glasses. Now I am using a table saw for this, but you don't need to have a table saw. You can use a hand saw or a circular saw. You could even just use a pocket knife if you wanted to. We want to cut our angles anywhere between 15 degrees and 30 degrees. That seems where it works out the best, especially when we're going with 3/4 inch thick. We don't want to have it too sharp on the hands, and those are the angles that I've found work best. Now, after you have cut your first initial cut, you want to flip the board over, readjust your fence, so you're just taking off the very edge of the corner, and that's going to make it easier for you when you get to the point where you're sanding to sand that corner round, and it's going to have this nice little radius on it, and it's going to be pretty easy to get that if you make those 2 cuts. Now you may be looking at this board thinking, that board is way too long to use as just a single climbing hold, and I would agree with you. And I want to duplicate these holds. So by leaving it long in a long piece, I can sand these edges much faster. I'm also going to go ahead and pre-drill all of my holes for these, and it's just going to make it a little bit easier. And then I'm going to cut it down to size. Now this was a big realization for me, is how to attach wooden holds to the climbing wall. Now in climbing hold design, I really appreciate the regular socket head cap screw with a washer. I think it works much better than the martini bolt. But when you are making wooden climbing holds, especially if you want it to be easy, the martini bolt is gonna be king. So this little device right here has made it so much easier for me in making these wooden holds. I will place a link down in the description below so you can get one of these tools yourself. And they're not all that expensive. Now it's time to go ahead and cut these boards into individual holds. I'm just freehanding it here. I'm also putting a slight taper on the cut so it flows a little bit better off of the climbing wall. Now, if you want to have very specific lengths and you want to have all of your holds matching on those specific lengths, you can easily put a stopper block on your chop saw if you have one of these. Now, I know I should probably be wearing gloves here, and if you're saying that, good for you. Be safe, people. Wear gloves, or better yet, clamp it down. The drill bit size is pretty important here. I will leave a link to the exact drill bit that I'm using in the description below. If you're thinking, square shapes are kind of lame, well, yeah, I kind of agree with you there, but we're going for easy. If you want to go a little bit more fancy, you can totally use these same techniques to create any kind of shape that you want. Now that we have a bunch of these holds made, let's go set it on the wall. I've just got nothing left in the tank here. I really enjoyed making this video and I hope that you find value in it. If you do, please let me know by hitting that like button. Also, if you end up making these holds, tell me about it down in the comments. I'd love to see that. And finally, if there is someone that you know that could use this information, please share it with them. It helps the channel grow, and I would really appreciate that. And I'll see you next time right here on Climber Dad.